Have you ever wanted to make your own rug? I have been fascinated by rug tufting and I finally got into it. I have been practicing and making all kinds of rugs, and I want to walk you through this really easy and beginner-friendly process so you can make your own. Hey there, I'm Sarah. You're watching Creative Ramblings. Today we are talking about rug tufting. It is something I have just recently gotten into and I love it. So we're going to walk through today, start to finish, how to tuft your own rug using a tufting gun. I'll have to admit I was a little intimidated when I first saw this and started learning about it, but the kit that I started with came with everything I needed to make a rug. The only thing I had to add was some glue at the end. So now that I'm comfortable with it, I want to walk you through the whole process. We're going to start with a kit. We're going to set up the frame, tuft the rug, put the backing on, shave it down, and put it to use. So if you're ready to start rug tufting, let's do this together.
Every time I start something new, I really try to get a kit because it comes with everything you need to get started. So I started with this kit from Clawlab. This is the tufting gun, and it also comes with a frame. So let's step back for a second. The process of rug tufting is kind of like punch needling. It's where you're taking yarn and you're pushing it through a monk's cloth or a burlap canvas to create a rug with all kinds of loops of yarn on it. You need a surface that can pull your fabric really taut so you can get that needle through it. This frame does that for you. I have it set up here in my studio. You could easily attach this to a dining room table, a kitchen counter, a piece of plywood set up on some horses, whatever you have. The kit comes with this entire frame and it comes with some cloth to get you started. So I was easily able to set this up, pull the cloth through, and then use the wheels and the gears on the ends and the sides to pull it really, really tight. So when I tap on it with my hand, it kind of sounds like a drum. Now for the design. You can freehand a design. I drew a bow that I really liked, and then I made that bow even bigger and drew it on a really large piece of paper and put it on the other side of this cloth so I could trace it out with pencil and then a marker. It's really helpful to have lines to follow during this whole process. Now let's take a look at what comes in the kit. So you get that frame and the cloth that I already set up. Now this is the tufting gun. So it kind of does all that work for you. You just have to know how to control it. So it plugs into an outlet. We've got that adapter here. And then it does come with some starter yarn. I used my starter yarn a long time ago in all of my other rugs that I've made. So I went and purchased some cotton acrylic blend, and it's pretty easy to thread into here. The gun does come with this little tiny threading tool. Do not lose this. It might be helpful to add a piece of colorful washi tape or put it in your pocket or just keep it somewhere safe because you're going to need this to thread the yarn into your gun. Once the yarn is threaded through, we need to plug it in and turn it on. So we hit the little on switch on the bottom, and then there is a control wheel on the back. The green part is how fast it's going to go. You can make this thing go really fast. I would recommend starting slow when you're just getting started, or the gun will get away from you. So I tend to start with it at about a quarter of the way around. So a quarter of the wheel is green. From here, you are going to push that gun really, really hard into the canvas and gently guide it along the lines of your pattern. Now, I've been doing this for a little while, and even here you can see my first couple runs through did not go so well. It takes a little while to get a hang of how hard you need to push and how fast you need to go. And yes, your yarn will come unthreaded regularly. Mine does all the time, so keep that little piece near you. The better you get at this, the less it will come unthreaded. So a few tips. Use a good amount of pressure. So the first time I took this out of the kit, I set up the whole frame and I just did test pieces all over the place until I got really good at understanding how much pressure was needed to get these great lines. Once I was really, really happy with that, I added some new canvas on, and then I was able to actually make a rug. When you are tufting, you are tufting from the back, and the front looks really cool. So the front is actually what people are going to see, what you're going to step on for your rug. The back is kind of the knotted pieces. When making a rug like this that has a lot of curves, I like to start with the outline first. So I did that dark pink outline first, and it had a few curves, so it took a little longer, and it might be a little more difficult to do this. But now I'm going to switch to that light pink yarn, thread it through my gun, and I'm going to fill this in. The best way I've found to fill these in is to just do straight up and down rows. And it goes pretty quick once you get started, and it looks really full on the other side. Another tip here is to make sure you have lots of slack in your yarn. If you are tufting and you're going at a good rate and that yarn has to pull a little too much on the ball, it's going to come unthreaded. So make sure you have lots of slack in your yarn. Just going up and down takes a good amount of time, but it is really easy and you're going to get a great look in the end. When you're first getting started, you can really use whatever yarn is available. I have a cotton and acrylic blend for this. Pure acrylic yarn is probably the cheapest. You can also get pure cotton yarn. You can also get wool or wool blend yarns. Now, I have some wool allergies in my family, so I try to stay away from that, but you do get really durable, really soft feel when using wool yarn. Every time you start a new row, you're going to have a little tail that hangs off on the end. So I have found that the further I go, the less tails I have hanging off. I only have them at the bottom of the row. But when I was first starting with this, I had tails everywhere, and that's okay. The rug's going to look a little messy from the back. It's going to look a little shaggy in the front. We clean all that up on the end. So just focus on doing your rows, getting them nice and close together. You want the needle to go in right next to the row you just did, so you're not leaving big gaps. That is going to make your rug look really thick and full on the front. The final color for this rug is white, and it is going to be the outline of my rug. So to make sure that I stay in the lines, I am going to outline everything first and then do straight up and down rows where I can to fill this in. This rug is done being tufted. So now we have to finish it off. I've got all these little edges here, so I'm just going to take a scissors and trim these off. You want to be very careful at this point not to pull any of these strings because nothing is really knotted. It's just pushed through that fabric. So we're just trimming them off lightly. You also don't really want to touch the front of the rug at this point because if you pull on any of those, they could just pull out of the back. So just trim this off for now. Now we need something to hold all this yarn in place. This is carpet adhesive. This is the smallest container I could find. I found it at my local Home Depot and it's lasted me a long time. So I'm just taking a little trowel and I'm applying it to the back of the rug while it's still on the frame. Everything is still pulled really tight and I'm just applying a generous amount in one direction, and then when I get done, I can come back and go in the other direction. This is going to help all that yarn stay so that eventually, if you've got this rug on the floor, you're not getting pieces coming out from the front because their backs are glued in really, really well. There's definitely a strong odor with this, so I have a couple of windows and a ventilation system in this room because this is where I use my lasers. So everything is well vented, so I'm not breathing all these fumes in. This is going to be wet. I'm going to walk away for about 24 hours and just let this dry completely. It is dry. It's still a little rubbery to the touch, but it's definitely dry. So now I can take this off the frame. To do that, I am going to lift up the latches on the sides, loosen the bottom, and then I can just cut it off from here. I like to cut straight across the top because then for my next rug, I can leave this frame set up and just pull that fabric straight down and start another one. Finishing the backing is important because we want this to be nice and durable. First off, I'm going to cut all the way around the rug, leaving an inch or two of space. I'm eventually going to fold these edges over onto the bottom of the rug. To make it easier to fold, I'm going to cut it in little slits. Let's stop here for just a second and measure out this backing. You get a piece of this backing in the kit. So I like to just roughly cut how big that backing is going to need to be, and then I can trim it down a little bit more. But I'm going to do it at this point and then set it off to the side. Now I want to fold all of these little pieces up onto the back of the rug, and I'm going to use some hot glue to hold them in place. I don't want to pull too tight, but I do want just a nice finished round edge on here. So I'm pulling it taut and even around the entire rug. I made these little pieces extra long just to make sure I had enough to work with, and now I'm going to go in and just trim off all that excess. Now we can put the backing on. I trimmed it down to size to fit over the backing, doesn't cover any of the yarn, and I'm going to use a strong spray adhesive to attach it to the back. Again, all those windows, keep them open, keep a ventilation system or a fan running, or better yet, go outside and do this part so you're not breathing that in. So I'm going to spray generously and push this down. You can also go back and spray the edges if you need to, or use a little bit of hot glue to keep it in place. I like this backing because it has some little grippers on it, so when I put this on the floor, it's not going to move around. With the backing done, we can work on the front. This is a lint brush. I actually picked this up at Aldi a little while ago, and you can use it on your furniture if you have pet hair or that kind of thing, but it works great for a rug. I'm going to link one down below that you can grab on Amazon that is meant for rugs as well. So I'm going to use this in one pass just to get all kind of extra lint off. Then I'm going to use the scissors and kind of trim off any really long pieces on the edges. I could use the scissors to trim off any long pieces I have sticking straight out of the top as well, and just get a rough shape to this rug. But to get a really detailed shape, I want to use a shaver. So this kind of looks like an electric razor you might use, but it has a little attachment for rugs. So I've got the razor on here. I put this clear attachment on the bottom, and this is going to help me get straight, even strokes and shave my rug down so it's all nice and uniform. The better you get at this, the more practice you get. You might not need that clear shield. I still use it. It helps me just stay on track. But this is just kind of taking off that top layer. There is a lot you can do from here. There is something called rug carving. I have tested it out. It's a way to give kind of a 3D effect to your rugs. I have not perfected that yet. In fact, I've not ruined rugs, but I've made them not look so good. But you can do carving with this exact tool. So once you have it on hand and you hone your skills, you're going to be able to do some rug carving. With the shaving done, we're going to go over it with the lint brush one more time, trim down any edges, and this rug is done.
I think this rug turned out really well. This is one of my favorites. It was a request from my daughter, and it's going to go in her bedroom. This truly was an easy process from start to finish, and I hope I was able to walk you through all the steps so that you're feeling confident that you can get this kit and get started. So I do have a link to the Clawlab tufting kit down below, along with those other glues that you will need to add the backing, so I have links to those. And there is a discount code down there for the kit. Use that code, take advantage of the discount, and get yourself a rug tufting kit. If you have any other questions on this, let me know down in the comments. I would love to chat with you. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'm here every week with new videos helping you move forward in your creative journey. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.